Before the first light of dawn touches the earth, there is a divine stillness, a sacred moment when the heavens are open and the presence of God hovers over creation, waiting for voices that will rise to speak. The mystery of the early morning altar is one many overlook, yet it carries profound power. It is the moment when eternity meets time, when destinies can be rewritten, and when the spirit of man communes deeply with the spirit of God. In these quiet hours, before the sun lifts its face upon the world, there is access, unhindered access to divine counsel, revelation, and authority. There is something about those who rise before sunrise to lift their voices in prayer. They are not just awake physically, they are spiritually sensitive. They understand that before the world begins to speak, they must first speak. Before the systems of the day begin to dictate, they must establish divine order. This is why those who master the morning rule the day. Heaven responds to those who approach it in the hours when distractions are silent, when the body is still weak, yet the spirit is strong. In the early hours, the spiritual atmosphere is uncluttered. The traffic of human thoughts, words, and desires has not yet filled the air. Angels are on assignment, waiting for instructions. The forces of darkness are still concluding their night operations. And it is at this very threshold that the believer rises to say, no more. It is here that destinies are preserved, territories are claimed, and divine alignment is enforced. The morning altar is not a ritual. It is a meeting point between heaven and earth, between the Creator and his creation. When a man or woman wakes before sunrise to speak prayers, they are not merely making requests. They are legislating in the spirit. They are taking hold of the unseen and commanding it to manifest in the seen. They are planting seeds that will blossom throughout the day. Every word becomes a decree. Every declaration becomes a weapon. And every moment spent in his presence becomes a shield. This is why many battles are won or lost before the day begins. Not because of what happens during the day, but because of what was or was not spoken in the early hours. You cannot command what you have not first conquered in prayer. The morning altar is where you conquer your day before it begins. It is where you disarm fear, silence confusion, and receive direction. There, the Holy Spirit whispers secrets about what lies ahead. He reveals traps, opens doors, and empowers you to walk in wisdom. When you miss these moments, you may still move through the day, but without divine strategy. Yet when you rise early and speak, you move not by chance, but by revelation. Before sunrise, heaven is listening. The same God who met Abraham at dawn, who revealed himself to Jacob before the light broke, who spoke to Samuel in the quiet hours, still waits for the sound of your voice. You are not just praying, you are commanding light to invade darkness, order to confront chaos, and favor to go before you. Every morning you wake and pray, you are rebuilding an altar of dominance and alignment. The unseen world recognizes your authority because you have spoken before others even rise. This is the mystery of the early morning altar. It is the discipline of those who will not allow the day to decide for them. They decide for the day. It is the practice of kings, priests, and warriors who know that before sunrise, the gates of the day are still open, waiting for a voice to close them or command them. When you speak before sunrise, you don't just start your day, you shape it. You set the course of destiny, you invite divine assistance, and you declare that nothing will unfold today that heaven has not already approved. Every new day arrives like a blank canvas, waiting for words to paint its meaning. Before the sun rises, before the noise of life begins, heaven grants you the authority to speak and command what the day will become. Nothing that happens within the hours ahead is random. Everything responds to a voice that dares to decree. To command the morning is to take charge of the unseen realm before it translates into reality. It is to recognize that the day listens, that creation responds, and that your words carry creative power. The spiritual world is governed by laws, and one of them is this: whatever you do not speak, you permit. When you wake before sunrise and lift your voice, you are not just praying, you are legislating. You are standing as an ambassador of heaven, taking authority over the hours ahead and declaring that nothing contrary to divine order will prevail. The morning is a gate, and every gate must be opened by a voice of faith. Those who fail to speak allow the enemy to write what they should have written. But those who rise with boldness, those who say, this day will favor me, those who command peace, strength, and wisdom, they rewrite the story of their day before it begins. The enemy understands the power of the morning. That is why he walks while men sleep. He plants seeds of confusion, fear, and delay in the unseen, hoping to see them manifest when the day breaks. But when you command the morning, you intercept those seeds. You uproot what was sown in darkness and replace it with light. You declare that the works of the enemy shall not stand, that every snare set through the night is broken by the authority of the word. The moment you begin to speak, angels are released to execute your declarations, and the day begins to align itself with heaven's plan. There is a reason the psalmist said, I will awaken the dawn. He understood that the dawn itself can sleep unless awakened by prayer. You can wake your destiny by speaking. You can call forth opportunities by decreeing. The morning carries ears. It listens to your spirit more than your words. When your spirit rises before the light, creation recognizes your voice and responds. Mountains move, doors open, and divine favor locates you because you have commanded the morning to yield its treasures. You may not see immediate signs, but the unseen realm begins to shift. Invisible hands start arranging circumstances, positioning people, and orchestrating outcomes that favor you. You will notice that when you command your morning, chaos loses its grip, distractions lose their power, and your steps become divinely guided. The atmosphere changes not because the sun has risen, but because your spirit has. The power to command is not in volume, but in authority. A single decree spoken with faith can silence 1,000 demonic voices whispering fear into your day. Every word you speak before sunrise carries weight. When you say, this is the day the Lord has made, I will rejoice and be glad in it, you are not reciting a verse, you are releasing a law. Heaven records it, and the day obeys. When you declare, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, the forces that planned against you are instantly frustrated. When you speak peace, confusion has no permission to remain. When you speak favor, rejection loses its strength. You are shaping the unseen. You are determining the order of events before they appear. To command the morning is to refuse to live by chance. It is to refuse to let fear, luck, or emotion dictate the rhythm of your day. It is to recognize that the authority given to you is not symbolic, it is real. So when you rise before sunrise, lift your hands and decree, I command the morning to yield success, wisdom, and peace. I command every gate of favor to open. I command every plan of the wicked to fail. And as those words ascend, heaven acknowledges them, angels enforce them, and the earth responds to them. When you learn to speak before sunrise, you will see that the morning is not just another time of day. It is the hour of destiny creation. Words are not empty sounds. They are living forces that travel into realms unseen, shaping what will later be visible. Every word spoken with faith and authority carries the breath of the Spirit. It creates, It commands, it corrects, and it calls things that are not as though they were. This is the mystery of prophetic declarations. Before sunrise, when the atmosphere is still and heaven is attentive, your words become divine instruments. They build walls of protection, open gates of opportunity, and summon divine intervention. When you speak before the light comes, you are not merely hoping, you are creating. The same God who said, "Let there be light," and watch light obey, has placed that same creative essence within your words. When you rise early to pray and declare, you must understand that every statement carries spiritual energy. Heaven registers them, angels act upon them, and the earth aligns with them. Many believers pray without understanding that their words are commands in the spirit. The unseen realm does not respond to silence, it responds to speech. Even your thoughts gain power only when they find voice. That is why silence in moments of warfare is dangerous. It gives the enemy room to define your reality. But when you open your mouth and declare what God has said, you reclaim the authority that silence once surrendered. Prophetic declarations are not emotional expressions. They are spiritual decrees. You are not begging God to move. You are enforcing what he has already promised. When you say, "I am victorious," you are not describing your feelings. You are activating a truth that must manifest. When you declare, "This day will favor me," heaven assigns angels to bring that favor to you. The power of life and death is in the tongue. And every morning before sunrise gives you a fresh chance to choose life with your words. Every "I declare you" speak is a seed planted into the soil of the day. As the sun rises, that seed grows and produces outcomes consistent with what you have said. Prophetic speech is not limited by time or distance. When you declare healing, someone far away can receive it. When you speak peace, confusion in your home begins to fade. Your voice carries more than sound. It carries authority. The enemy fears the voice of one who knows this truth. That is why distractions increase whenever you decide to pray aloud in faith, because the adversary knows that your declaration can undo hours of his work. But every time you speak, even in weakness, the spiritual world acknowledges your dominion. You may feel nothing, but your words are working. They are traveling ahead of you, building pathways and scattering resistance. Before sunrise, when the earth is still wrapped in darkness, your declarations pierce through the veil. They summon light to invade the day. When you declare, "I walk in divine wisdom," you are commanding your mind to align with heaven's intelligence. When you say, "No evil shall befall me," you are establishing a divine perimeter around your life. When you declare, "My steps are ordered by the Lord," confusion has no legal right to follow you. You are building the reality you will walk into. The same lips that complain can also create, and the difference lies in revelation. This is why you must never speak carelessly, especially in the early hours. Those words are seeds that determine what the day will birth. Speak intentionally, speak boldly, speak with conviction. Your morning declarations are not just sounds, they are blueprints. As you speak, heaven listens, angels record, and creation obeys. Every "I command," every "I decree," every "I align my day with God's purpose" carries weight in eternity. You are writing spiritual legislation that governs the next 24 hours. When you declare the promises of God before sunrise, you are clothing your day with divine energy, ensuring that no matter what comes, you will rise above it. Speak it, believe it, and watch. Heaven respond, because in the realm of the spirit, what you speak before sunrise determines what you will see after sunrise. Before the first light breaks through the darkness, there is a battle most eyes cannot see. The hours between midnight and sunrise are not silent. They are filled with spiritual activity. It is in these hours that powers of darkness attempt to finalize their assignments, setting traps and enforcing cycles of defeat before the day begins. This is why prayer before sunrise is not just a spiritual exercise, it is warfare. It is the moment when you rise as a soldier of light to dismantle every agenda of darkness and to reclaim the authority that the enemy seeks to steal while men sleep. When you lift your voice at that hour, you are not only praying, you are enforcing victory, declaring that no power of hell will define the day before it begins. Darkness is not merely the absence of light. It represents confusion, limitation, and manipulation. In the spirit, darkness is the environment where the enemy hides his operations. That is why many wake up feeling drained, fearful, or oppressed, because spiritual battles have taken place in the unseen. But the one who knows the mystery of early prayer rises to break those operations before they take root. When you pray before sunrise, you confront the enemy at the gate. You intercept demonic decrees and destroy the seeds planted in the night. You cancel negative dreams, silence accusations, and reverse pronouncements made in the spirit realm. You take back what was stolen while others were sleeping. The early hours are a transition between night and day, a spiritual exchange point. In that moment, you either let darkness continue its rule or you announce the dominion of light. When you pray, let there be light, you are not just quoting scripture, you are commanding a shift in atmosphere. You are declaring that your home, your mind, and your destiny will not be hidden under the cloud of darkness. You are enforcing spiritual order, telling the forces of hell that their assignment has expired. Every morning before sunrise, heaven gives you another chance to rewrite what darkness attempted to establish. This is why prayer in those hours must carry authority, not fear. You are not begging the darkness to leave, you are commanding it. You are standing as one who knows that light has already triumphed. When you declare, every plan of darkness is scattered. Angels are released to execute judgment against demonic plots. When you speak, I decree peace in my home, the spiritual storms begin to calm. When you proclaim, no evil shall prevail this day, heaven agrees and establishes your words. The key is consistency. The forces of darkness persist because many believers stop fighting when they should be enforcing victory daily. But the one who rises before sunrise becomes unstoppable because their altar never sleeps. The enemy operates through silence, fear, and ignorance. He thrives when the believer remains passive, when prayers are delayed, and when faith grows weary. But when you rise early, your voice breaks his silence. Every declaration of faith becomes like thunder in the realm of darkness. The more you pray, the weaker his hold becomes. You must understand that every stronghold begins as a whisper in the night, but prayer before sunrise exposes and destroys it. It dismantles hidden barriers, reverses losses, and activates restoration. When you begin to pray in those early moments, something shifts around you. You can sense peace replacing heaviness, clarity replacing confusion, strength replacing weakness. That is not imagination. It is the result of victory in the unseen. You have broken the resistance of darkness. You have opened the gate for the light of God to shine unhindered. And as the sun rises, you carry that same light into the day, walking with divine confidence. You no longer fear what the enemy planned in the dark because you confronted him before the light came. Every battle fought in prayer before sunrise is a victory manifested in the day. That is why those who pray early walk in calmness, while others are anxious. They already won before the day began. When you rise before sunrise to lift your voice in prayer, something divine begins to happen. Your life starts to align with the perfect will of God. You are not merely praying to survive the day. You are calling your steps into divine order. Before the world awakens, heaven opens its books concerning you. And in that quiet hour, your obedience and intercession cause divine alignment. This is the place where heaven rearranges what has gone out of order, where the scattered pieces of your destiny are gathered again under the light of God's purpose. Prayer at that moment becomes more than communication. It becomes synchronization with divine timing. Every man or woman who desires to walk in destiny must understand the power of alignment. When your life, your words, and your will agree with God's plan, everything begins to move in rhythm with His Spirit. But alignment does not happen by accident. It is birthed through intentional prayer. When you speak before sunrise, you invite heaven to govern your decisions, your relationships, and your movements. You hand over control to the one who sees beyond time, allowing him to prepare the path before you walk on it. Prayer at dawn is where divine direction is released. It is where confusion dissolves and clarity is born. Many wander through the day without alignment, reacting to circumstances rather than ruling over them. But those who pray early rise with direction written in their hearts. Before sunrise, you may not hear a thunderous voice from heaven, but your spirit begins to receive impressions, gentle instructions, inner nudges, divine peace guiding your next move. The Spirit of God whispers, turn here, or wait, or speak now. These silent instructions are the secret codes of alignment. Every minute spent in prayer before sunrise fine-tunes your inner ear to hear accurately. It is here that wrong doors are closed before you walk into them, and right opportunities are opened before you even ask. Divine alignment is not just about avoiding mistakes. It's about being positioned at the right place, at the right time, with the right people, doing the right thing. When you pray before sunrise, you are giving heaven permission to interfere in your plans. You are surrendering your will for His. This surrender brings peace even when the path ahead is unclear. You begin to trust the unseen hand that orders your day. Sometimes alignment means delays. Other times it means acceleration. Both are divine because they are led by purpose, not emotion. Prayer aligns your perspective so that you see interruptions as redirections, not disappointments. When heaven aligns your life, even what seems like a detour becomes a divine strategy. Every sunrise carries divine appointments, people to meet, words to speak, and opportunities to seize. When you pray early, you summon those appointments. You align the hearts of men and systems to favor you. You call your helpers out of delay and confusion. You declare, Father, let everything you have ordained for me today find expression. And as you pray, heaven adjusts circumstances in your favor. Emails are sent, doors begin to open, hearts begin to soften, all because you aligned your life in the secret place before the day began. Without alignment, effort becomes struggle. You may be active but not effective, moving but not progressing. Prayer before sunrise prevents wasted motion. It positions your heart in peace so that even when challenges arise, you are not shaken. You respond with wisdom, not panic, because you already align with divine purpose. When your spirit is in tune, the storms of the day cannot drown your peace. This is the beauty of early morning prayer. It is not just warfare, it is partnership. You are working with heaven to ensure your life reflects divine